Third world bullshit. I mean every word of that. I don't care that it's cable news. I was a federal agent. I raised my right hand.
Give me
and
more!
I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And I love this country.
I'm
this
smoking
is a
on it.
freaking disgrace.
This is a pretty fucking big deal. Yes, dude. Are you insane?
Executed, why it was carried out, and of course, what these agents.
Yes, chatter. When the former president is under federal investigation for his personal involvement in the insurrection attempt, the failed insurrection attempt of January 6th, and then the FBI raids his home, yes, that is a pretty big fucking deal. I mean, even if it's nothing, even if it's a nothing burger, which it isn't, it is a big deal. It's fucking awesome content because, I mean, goddamn, that's great. Like, that doesn't happen ever.
Gloria, what do you read into this? You know, we don't know exactly the reason. We don't know what probable crime was established to a level that a federal judge said to go ahead and execute this search warrant. But we do know that all those things were present. And here we are with a search warrant and a large number of FBI agents today raiding Mar-a-Lago.
I know it is kind of stunning. FBI agents raiding the home of a former president who was not there, by the way, as Caitlin was saying. And we also know, if you go back to April, we were reporting and others were reporting
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
that the Justice Department began investigating the handling of these 15 boxes of White House records, including classified information that had been taken to Mar-a-Lago. I do not know whether this has anything to do with that, or whether those documents that they got led them to decide, well, maybe there's more there than we received.
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
I mean, I'm just speculating here, and let me make that clear. But I do think that it is an extraordinary step for them to do this. So there must be something they are looking for. And Ellie can talk about that more than I can, but it seems to me to get a judge to say you can do this on the home of a former president, it has to be pretty striking.
So, Ellie, let me ask here, because a lot of people watching this, and obviously as part of, we led the program, we were talking about the text messages that the January 6th committee had just obtained from Alex Jones, right? So when you talk about, in the context we're in, an FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago, a lot of people are going to jump to the DOJ investigation into January 6th. But I want to be clear, Ellie, we don't know that these things are related or not, right? Mm-hmm. Could it be something specifically related, as Gloria is indicating, to those 15 boxes of classified documents that were not supposed to be removed from the National Archives, were supposed to be sent there, that went to Mar-a-Lago? Could it be as simple as the crime is removing those documents? Is it possible?
Yeah, it could be, Aaron. It could really be any federal crime under the sun. When you fill out these affidavits that you bring to a federal judge to get a search warrant, you have to name a crime. You give the section number, and you have to say, here's our evidence. That could be information, as Stephanie was alluding to, as possibility from a source, from an informant. It could be information that you got from text. It could be any kind of information at all. But you do have to say what specific crime you are investigating. Now, those papers typically don't come out until much later in the process. If they do come out, the first thing I would look for is, well, what crime did they say? That will give us a big indication. Right. But yes, unauthorized destruction of classified materials is a federal crime. There are several potential federal crimes relating to January 6th. So it really could be any federal crime. But one other point, Aaron, that I think is important to understand. People may be wondering, well, when do you execute a search warrant as opposed to send someone a subpoena, right? And the answer as a federal prosecutor is, if you don't believe that the person's going to faithfully comply with the subpoena, if you don't trust the person to fully turn over the documents,
we know he wasn't there. Chat, we know they just mentioned it.
Concern here, but a search warrant tells
we know he wasn't
that
there.
DOJ and the FBI did not have faith that Donald Trump or whoever the subject of this search warrant would be down at Mar-a-Lago would simply say, sure, thanks for the subpoena. Here's all the documents requested. That they were able to establish that they had some concern that they might not be given all the evidence that they're entitled to.
And it had to be a pretty...
And again, go ahead, Gloria.
It had to be a pretty intensive...
I'm not going to lie. This is the most excited I've been since Trump got COVID. Like, literally, just...
So the question is, and again, we don't know the answer. He says they went into his safe. Since he's not at Mar-a-Lago, somebody had to report that to him. And did they do it specifically because they knew he wasn't at Mar-a-Lago? And if it was this intensive, and it seems to me that maybe it was broad. It's just very hard to know. So all we can do is speculate here.
Right. So let me ask you, Stephanie, and I want to get Ellie to weigh in on this as well. But as we try to understand, obviously this is hugely significant, whatever it is related to, whether it be related to January 6th, whether related to documents that were wrongly removed from Washington or something else. But then in that, Stephanie, what stands out is the safe, which the former president himself is the one who told us about, right? He's saying someone broke into his safe. So that would imply they're not just checking for a bunch of boxes. So can you, Stephanie, help us understand a little bit more why something like that would have stood out to him, or why a safe in particular would have been a place where he kept things?
So again, this is going to be me just speculating and going off of my years of time with him. I will tell you, though, the fact that he mentioned the safe in the statement stood out to me immediately, because he likes to get ahead of things. That's something he used to tell me all the time. You just get ahead of it and then it'll be okay. I think that there's something in there that he didn't want anybody to see. Now, it could be anything. It could be stuff he doesn't want his wife to see. It could be anything. Again, we're speculating, as the whole panel has talked about. But the fact that they made their way to the safe, I don't know if it's the office safe, I don't know if it's their apartment safe, but the fact that he mentioned it, it really, it struck me, and I think that he's nervous.
So, Ellie, what do you make of that? Because again,
we need
one of the
photos,
things you first
man.
mentioned, and I remember this, right, when Michael Cohen
We need to see photos.
had his FBI, they showed up at his door.
I need
right?
photos
they want
of the fucking
electronic devices,
FBI
they want
going
the
all
computers,
up
they
and
want the cell
down.
phones. Okay, that's fine. One thing we know about the former president, right, is that he's not somebody who's putting things in email and on a computer and a laptop, right? That's not where you're going to find some treasure trove in his particular case. So, Ellie, it's not as if there's, well, I mean, who knows, right? But some secret cell phone hidden in the safe. While it could be, what stands out to you about the word safe and why he is, as Stephanie said, clearly trying to get ahead of that specifically?
Well, Erin, it is very common for search warrants to seek access to documents or records, whether they're paper documents or electronic documents. And the rule basically is, for the most part, when you execute a search warrant, you have the right to go into any area where those items could be stored. If we're talking about paper documents, or even if there was a cell phone or a laptop, that would certainly be something that you could find in a safe. Just to make a contrary example, sometimes, for example, if you have a stolen car case, you'll say, we're looking for this stolen car in a garage. You can't go look in a safe because there's not going to be a stolen car in a safe. However, if you're looking for documents, again, whether they're printed paper documents or electronics or cell phones, then you can look in a safe. It's quite common in cases when you are looking for documents that you get access into locked closets, safes, that kind of thing. So that's fairly common. Again, we don't know the specifics here, but it is often the case that FBI agents are looking for documents. The other thing that I think is important.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. Ben protested me. The search related to the 15 boxes of material Trump took to Mar-a-Lago last year, per 3 sources. God, liberals are so deranged, but this is so funny. Like, liberals are so incredibly deranged. FBI searches Trump's home. Oh, dude, what the fuck? Look at this, bro. This should be illegal, unironically. Like, y'all are fucking crazy for paywalling this shit. Jesus Christ. Let's hear what else is going on here, and then I'll go into reading that article.
Caitlin Collins, I know you've been trying to reach out to the Department of Justice to get more information about what caused this, what prompted it. What are they telling you?
Yeah,
No,
they
this
told
is
my
from
colleague
2019,
they are
man.
not going to be commenting. So
This
no
is an
comment
old
from the
story,
Justice Department,
chatter.
no comment from the White House either. But Aaron, I will tell you what we do know as we await confirmation over what this search warrant was over, is that there are 2 investigations related to Trump that are happening right now. One is the mishandling of classified information. That is the one that could potentially deal with documents that Trump, after he left office, took with him to Mar-a-Lago. And the other one is into the January 6th insurrection. That is what two things that we know are happening. We know some of his former aides have been interviewed regarding to that one. But when it comes to the documents, I will note that we did report earlier this year that investigators had issued a subpoena to the National Archives because they wanted access to more information about what exactly documents were taken to Mar-a-Lago, how they were handled while they were there, what they found, of course, when they requested the return of those documents. And so that is something that is helpful context, I think, when you're looking at this and you're wondering why
I'm going to
this
tune over to
extraordinary
Fox
raid
News and do
was
some hog
carried
watch
out
on
at
this
the
in
former
a little bit.
president's home in Florida. And I will say that at that time, when we noted about that subpoena to the National Archives, we were told by the former president's current staff that they maintained he had handled all documents properly. Clearly, there is some disagreement over that has prompted this investigation that is happening into how those documents were handled. And so that is remarkable in and of itself as we're waiting to see confirmation of this. Again, Trump was not actually at Mar-a-Lago when this raid was carried out. He's instead at Trump Tower in New York. He's often spending his summers in the Northeast. And I will note in his statement, Aaron, he's very critical of Democrats. He says Democrats desperately don't want him to run for president in 2024. He is indicating that he believes this is politically motivated. I will note, he says it was a large number of FBI agents that were at Mar-a-Lago today. He did pick the current FBI director, Chris Wray. It's a decision he said many times that he regrets, but it is an FBI director that was handpicked by Trump and put into that position.
All right, Gloria, I want to ask you about
Fake
something
friends
else
all
that
around
you
me.
said you stood out to you about the former president's statement, and that was that they spent a significant amount of time there today. What more from what he's saying in what you've described as a long statement, putting out, trying to get ahead of this? What more stands out to you?
Look, I think that, as Ellie was saying, they don't have to say we're specifically looking for this document that was potentially not handed over to the archives. They can be as broad as they want. And I think that's what probably happened today and got the former president so incensed to release this, this large statement. I mean, if this is about the handling of those 15 boxes of documents that went to Mar-a-Lago, the Justice Department started investigating in April, and there was a subpoena that was part of the formal process to the archives to kind of get, by the FBI, to get a handle on what was in those documents, as Caitlin was saying. So maybe there was a discovery that there was something missing that needed to be there, or, they raised other questions about why wasn't this included in the box, or maybe there's more at Mar-a-Lago that we didn't get, that we should know about.
I need more, though.
So,
I need more.
I think, again, we don't know specifically what this raid was about, but it seems to me that when you connect it to Mar-a-Lago, what do we know about Mar-a-Lago? Well, there were these documents, including classified documents, that are potentially have been mishandled. And so it makes sense that the FBI would be looking at that.
Ellie, do you believe that we will find out what the crime was for, that they established probable cause from a judge, so we'll be able to understand whether this was related to the documents or January 6th or something else?
So the actual affidavit itself, Aaron, that prosecutors fill out.
All right, we're moving on. We're going to look at what the fucking Hogalinas are saying. Red Line Politics says this could lead to a civil war. Who cares? Washed. Jesse Waters responds to the Mar-a-Lago FBI raid. Take a look at what he had to say about it. This is breaking news on the Fox News side. Let's take a look. Oh, my God.
We were told that the FBI wasn't going to get involved in any politically charged search warrants, investigations, announcements, indictments before an election. We were told that. I mean, remember what they did with the crooked situation with the server. They made all sorts of announcements then. They investigated the Trump campaign then. You saw what they did in October by covering up the laptop. And now they're gonna send agents into Mar-a-Lago before the midterm election. This is not what we were told the FBI was going to do, especially, Dana, on the heels of what we just did at the top of the show, when we just laid out how
so fucked up of the FBI to, go through and conduct a criminal investigation into our president, into our big, beautiful president. It's so fucked up. They're not supposed to do that to us. You know, that's not supposed to happen. They gave us assurances that was not supposed to happen. That's fucked up.
How you know, Paul Pelosi Sr. Suspiciously involved in insider trading with the wife, Nancy.
This is why you got raided, motherfucker. W. Trump L. Biden says Aiden Ross. Yeah, you. Yeah, that's why they raided you earlier this morning alongside Mar-a-Lago, baby. What does Aiden Ross know about the files hidden in a safe inside of Mar-a-Lago?
And then she takes her son to this Asian trip, tries to hide it while he's got lithium investments. He's got EV battery investments all over these Asian countries.
I forgot to mention that. Nancy Pelosi's husband had a bunch of investments in China, and now the Chinese government is seizing them, by the way. So that's pretty funny. Oh God, I forgot to gloat about that. Yeah, the Chinese government is seizing all of Nancy Pelosi's husband's investments in China.
They're trying to cover it up. And,
this is a good
nothing
day.
gets done with Hunter. Yeah. They're trying to push that off, make it a little tax thing, make that go away. Meanwhile, we have evidence that they were holding 10 for the big guy. Diamonds are being exchanged. There's like 150 flags from Treasury that there were suspicious wire transfers coming from all these countries, China, Russia, Ukraine, into the Biden family bank accounts that were all cold.
He's losing his mind. He's like, why aren't they doing this to Biden?
Mingled. And you're sending agents to Mar-a-Lago? Yeah. Did they get the address wrong, Dana?
Yeah, exactly. I'm amazed that because there's more evidence to implicate, I think, the Bidens than ever has been, that actually nothing has been there for the Trumps. Everything they've accused that family of, the former first family of, it seems like it's the Bidens that have done it. And to say nothing, you just talked about Paul Pelosi or Nancy Pelosi's son, his involvement in some of this green energy stuff. I mean, I know that there's an investigation currently ongoing with, the Russian collusion stuff with Hunter Biden and his involvement, his investment firm, and what part it played, not only in some Chinese acquisitions, but also what about Hunter Biden's business dealings with the Democratic Republic of Congo and acquiring for China a huge cobalt mine that's going to be instrumental with rare earth elements in EVs. That's a whole other subject. How much does this family stand to make from the Green New Deal? We should be talking about these issues instead of trying to settle the score of somebody like Hillary Clinton and Democrats who are still enraged.
Hillary Clinton? What the fuck does Hillary have to do with this? They're saying Dark Brandon couldn't have done this on his own. It must have been Hill Dog controlling the strings. The White House did not get a heads up, by the way. The White House did not get a heads up. That's awesome.
Trying to subvert that. The people who lecture us all the time, Democrats, about democracy, don't actually believe.
Wait, what the fuck? This dude literally looks like the ginger version of the guy from The Office and also from Severance. What the fuck's his name? They found the most Ed Sheeran ass motherfucker to bring on. Adam Scott? No, not BJ Novak. Adam Scott? Is that his name? That's crazy. They found Ginger Adam Scott to come on. Anyway, speaking of Dark Brandon, for the record, the White House did not get a heads up that the FBI was executing a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. White House official says, we did not have notice of the reported action and would refer you to the Justice Department for any additional information, the office tells me. And the Department of Justice is declining to comment. Love that. For the Fox News viewers, the director of the FBI who approved the raid on Trump's home was appointed by him 5 years ago this week. That's awesome. That's fire.
Moment in the country's history.
All right, Buck Sexton, thank you so much for joining us on this really scary evening.
Scary.
Let's go to Dan Bongino, the host of Unfiltered on Saturday nights. Dan, your quick emotional reaction. I think everyone's a little emotional here about this raid.
We've invaded nations that topple dictators for less than what our own FBI is doing right now. Why do we put up with a blatant third world thuggery from a man?
Third world bullshit. I mean every word of that. I don't care that it's cable news. I was a federal agent. I raised my right hand.
Give me
and
more!
I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And I love this country.
I'm
this
smoking
is a
on it.
freaking disgrace. A disgrace. We don't live in Cuba. We don't live under Kim Jong-un. We live in a constitutional republic, a representative democracy. You have a bunch of FBI agents raiding the home of a former president because they don't like his politics? Are you kidding me? You spent this whole show, Jesse, and I've spent my entire time either on Fox or on my podcast exposing the left for claiming Russia interfered in an election as Hillary Clinton paid off a bunch of foreign agents, her team literally to fabricate a story that occupied the nation for 4 years. What's she doing right now? Getting a manicure in freaking Chappaqua. She's not doing squat. Nothing. Hunter Biden is having sex on tape while doing crack. And what does he do?
Wait, I don't get it. Like, why are they so mad, bro? Hunter Biden is goated. Okay, get mad at Hunter Biden all you want. Last time I checked, Hunter Biden was not the president. So what's up?
Country where you were allowed to challenge an election. There's even a process. The ECA, the Electoral Count Act. You may not like it, but it's a process. How do I know it's a process? Because some people are trying to reform it. You may not like it, but now you send the FBI. Let me tell you something. I have paid due deference to the FBI for a long time, and a lot of listeners didn't like it because I work with some very good people over there who've since retired. The management of the FBI has now shredded any single sliver of credibility this agency had left. Nobody will take them seriously from this point on. It is over. You've heard the examples. Stone, Manafort, Cohen, over and over. Are they good guys? Are they bad guys? I don't know. I don't care. I don't know them. All I'm telling you is you cannot tell me we still live in a constitutional republic and not the freaking third world when you have Hillary Clinton paying foreign agents to interfere with an election, people lying under oath repeatedly, Hunter Biden doing...
The best part is like, arrest her too. Oh my God, go ahead. Make my day. Oh, dude, can you imagine how sweet that would be?
They're in Mar-a-Lago. This is some third world garbage that happened tonight. And I'm telling you, the FBI management, here's a solution. Last thing. We have now got to win in 2022. You have no choice now, folks. Oh, we don't like the swampy Republicans. I don't like them either. Republicans may not be the solution to your problems, but Democrats are certainly the cause of all your problems right now. If there was ever a clarion call to remove your ass from the seat and go vote in 2022, this is it. And there has to be not only hearings, but a total house cleaning at the top of the DOJ and the FBI.
Stop.
When the left is complaining about one firing, fire 10 more people the next day.
Stop.
And then when the New York Times starts crapping their diaper and whining about it.
What's happening right now? Why is there so much incredible shit popping off, dude? Oh my God.
Barack Obama. I spent 2 years on his detail around the world's hot zones. So I'm not going to be lectured by some a-hole leftist about anything. They didn't see my kid crying as I was flying around the world to protect the guy they loved. He was the president. I did my job. This is freaking embarrassing. There should be a massive house cleaning. And I'm telling you, please, God, I am begging you to vote in 2022, or you might not recognize this place afterwards.
I think people are going to flood.
That's great. They're like flailing and doing, just go out to vote, sweaty. I love that. No, that's great. They're like turning into the Democrats. The moment the Democrats, or the moment that like anyone takes action against the Republicans, they start flailing around and turning into like libs. They're like, please just vote. Vote harder. Vote harder. I know you don't like the Republicans, but vote harder for them, please.
Donald J. Trump has been going on for years with now the fully debunked Russia scam, impeachment hoax #1, impeachment hoax #2, and so much more. It just never ends. It is a political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was able to delete and acid watch 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her.
Bro, I'm so happy I took a day off, dude. God damn. I cannot believe it, dude. What a gift. What an incredible fucking gift, dude. Oh, my Lord.
Power to the people and truly
look
delivered
how mad
for
they
our
are.
country. Like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it as they watched my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls. And they are trying to stop me. and the Republican Party wants more. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. It's not just about the MAGA movement. It's not just about the Republican Party. This is much, much bigger than politics. This is explosive and dangerous stuff the Biden administration has done. And I think they're going to pay a serious price for this. Dan Bongino, I'll give you one final reaction.
I just want to say in closing, listen, America, they're laughing at you. The left thinks this is hilarious.
If
you doubt me, just go to any of their goofy platforms, Twitter or elsewhere right now. They think this
Twitch.tv/Hasanabi. Say it. Say it.
You know what's really hilarious? You going out tomorrow if you're not registered to vote and doing it. That's really hilarious.
Yeah. Go out to vote, Sweaty.
Really
go out to vote.
If you don't vote in 2022. Remember, mark the date, folks. It is now 7:40 Eastern time on the Jesse Waters Show on August 8th. Remember the date I told you this. You aren't going to recognize your country if you don't fix this.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Dark Brandon, baby.
Dark
Brandon all the way.
Bring people together and calm things down after the Trump presidency. And he just burned everything to the ground with what his administration did tonight. This is insane. Dan Bongino, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Now let's go to Fox News national correspondent Matt Finn, who has details about what was taken from Mar-a-Lago by the FBI.
Jesse, the New York Times reports the search, according to two people familiar with the investigation, appears to be focused on material that Mr. Trump had brought with him to Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence, after he left the White House. Those boxes contained many pages of classified documents, according to a person familiar with their contents. The New York Times reports Mr. Trump delayed returning 15 boxes of material.
Wait, here's the thing. I don't even give a fuck about the contents of the material. I don't even care if it's like it's a nothing burger. The fact that they're flailing and it makes them so mad and it makes them so sad that like their big beautiful boy got raided is enough. That's great. I'm happy. I'll take it. That's a gift. Don't assume that he's going to jail or anything, which would be super sick if that happened, obviously. But like, it's awesome. It's awesome that like this happened and it's just like he's very upset about it. That's great.
Of the raid. Jesse.
All right, thanks, Matt. Let's bring in Jason Chaffetz, a former Utah congressman and Fox News contributor. Jason, what you think happened tonight? Do we have him?
Yeah, there is absolutely no justification, Jesse. Absolutely no justification. I dealt with this. I was the chairman of the Oversight Committee. I did issue subpoenas on Hillary Clinton. At the time, she had no security clearance, none. And there were thousands of documents in her safe at her attorney. They had no security clearance. And you know what? Nobody was prosecuted. Nobody was raided. Nobody went in there in the dead of night. None of the media was given this. Then media, by and large, didn't even report it. The president of the United States, a former president of the United States, has a security clearance. He also has a SCIF. They have secure facilities that they created there at Mar-a-Lago. The president has executive privilege. So he has a classified clearance.
This motherfucker thinks the dead of the night? I don't get it.
He is allowed to possess these types of documents. And if you disagree, then you got to go to court. You got to have a way, not be a banana republic like this action is. Go to court, make your case, allow the president to defend himself in this case. But that's not what's happening here. I want to see these. I want to see Merrick Garland up there, and I want to understand exactly how in the world they can justify going in and breaking into a safe of a former president of the United States. They have no business doing that, none whatsoever.
Well, Chris Wray has to be fired by the next Republican president. Got to be fired on day one. Don't even wait. Just fire him right off the jump. Because this guy is so corrupt. He comes in, cleans up Comey's mess with the Russia collusion hoax, doesn't do anything to anybody, doesn't.
Wait. The Truth Social Instagram keeps hinting at a Trump surprise for August 8th like he's Taylor Swift hyping up fans for a new record. Oh my God. Surprise. It was a fucking raid. Dark Brandon strikes again, dude.
Do anything with it before the election. They cover it up. And now we're learning that he comes out and hatches a fake plot against Gretchen Whitmer to make the Trump movement look bad before the election. Meanwhile,
I love that. It's like, dude, you don't have to try to make the Trump movement look bad, okay?
he doesn't necessarily fire any of those guys involved in the entrapment. He puts the guy and head of that whole division in charge of the Washington field office. And then yesterday, or was it last week, he goes on to this hearing in the Senate and he says, I got to run, I got to go, I can't answer any more questions. Turns out he takes the FBI jet to his retreat in the Adirondack Mountains. He went on a vacation, and so he didn't have to answer any more questions. I don't see how this guy has any credibility whatsoever, Jason. He's got to go.
Totally agree with you, Jesse. The other thing is, I tell you what, Donald Trump has been the most open and transparent president I have ever been around. You know, when the Mueller probe came in, what did he do? He allowed
Conservatives
Don
are
McGahn,
losing their
General
minds.
Counsel, to go talk to him an unlimited amount
Talking
of time.
about lock and
His
load.
son, Donald Trump Jr., was able to went up there multiple
They will
times.
cry out
and
in
testified.
authentic pain
They
soon.
did everything. They gave him the political enema of his life. Donald Trump just sat there and let them do it. And guess what? They came up with zero. They didn't have a single thing on Donald Trump, and they tried every trick.
Oh, they gave him an enema, all right. They're still giving him an enema.
Unprecedented. I don't know of any justification that they can possibly do this. And the other question I have is, where is the Secret Service? You know what? These are two different Department of Justice, yes, but Homeland Security, you're there to protect the president. I want to see the security clearances of each one of those FBI agents that dared to go onto those grounds. And if the FBI overstepped their bounds, why isn't the Secret Service doing their job?
Yeah, we're learning that actually it was agents from the FBI's D.C. field office that conducted this raid. That was the field office that is now being overseen by the agent who was in charge in Detroit that cooked up that fake Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. The Miami field office was notified just beforehand. We have now, I'm going to let you go, Jason. We have Jonathan Turley, who's a constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor.
Damn, they cut him so quick. That's awesome.
To this insane raid.